Hello, and welcome to Create Utopia with me, Chicory, and my Grand Vizier, Zero. You chose that one,
I did. I didn't expect you to actually use it.
but you gave me a hard time before, so now you're stuck with it
I
forever.
did. I don't. It's racist not to use Grand Vizier.
Is it? Okay, I'm gonna
No, probably not.
show what we're playing this week. Okay. Oops. So, what are we playing this week?
This week we're going to be losing Papers, Please, because this game is really hard to play while having a conversation.
Is it? Good. Ha ha ha.
Yeah, real hard. But that's fine. I've been succeeding too much recently.
You have. We've won a lot of games recently. We've obviously had too much practice, and now we need to do this.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to
So,
start kicking up the difficulties.
yeah, absolutely. So, what is the goal of Papers, Please? I haven't actually played this one yet, so I don't know.
In Papers, Please, and we'll do more when we eventually get around to doing our gameplay, how to play these games videos. I will be manning a border point on the small, probably socialist, or probably communist, definitely dystopian society of Arstotska, and it will
Arstotzka.
be my job to make sure the right people get into the country based upon regulations that feel very arbitrary that my superiors have set, and I don't want my family to die of starvation while doing so, so I have to do it in a certain time frame.
Yeah. Good luck, Zero.
Yeah.
Comrade Zero.
Comrade Chicory, what are we talking about today?
Okay, today we are talking about minimum wages here in Los Angeles and
And in Seattle.
and in Seattle. Thanks. And Baja California, because why not? And then kind of bemoaning our lack of trains here on the West Coast. And then talking about sort of how crappy voting rights are and stuff like that. Just going over people that are missing in the vote, and specifically black voters, versus Texas banning basically what people want to do. And then last thing is people's reaction to politicians on Twitter, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. Okay, so let me get this up. So, minimum wage, it is implemented, or starting to be implemented now, in Seattle. Has that affected you at all? Can I even ask that?
It hasn't affected me because I don't technically live or work in Seattle.
Oh.
It's actually just Seattle and the airport. Our socialist city council member, who actually lives in a Roses district. Oh my god, I'm gonna fail. This is gonna be great. Here, just like went to a suit because she's trying to sue Alaska Airlines for robbery.
They robbed her?
No, she believes that they robbed a worker because they've been trying to not have to pay their workers $15 an hour.
$15 an hour is a lot. Like, the last...
No, it's not.
I had a job that was like $10 an hour, and that was not great.
It only feels like a lot because they don't pay it.
Mm.
Transit 2 days. I mean, there's lots of arguments on why you should pay it, why you shouldn't, but the point is that currently the people whose actual job this is, the corporations, are not paying it, like are not paying fair wages in a lot of cases, or else it wouldn't be a problem. Oh god, I should have checked. If they were paying fair wages,
Then this wouldn't be an
oh,
issue. We wouldn't have to hike up the minimum wage.
exactly. Like, it's an issue because people don't want to pay what are actually fair wages. God dang it. Nope. Denied.
You just denied it over the granted?
Highlight discrepancies. Yurko City. Get my rule book. Oh my god, I haven't played this game in forever. This is going to be the most hilarious thing ever.
Come on, buddy. What are you
Alright,
doing?
so I'm probably going to fail this pretty quick.
It'll be okay.
But
They'll just murder
it'll
your
be
family.
fun. My family will die.
Maybe you in
Maybe I can have them arrested. Um, You don't know anything about that. Detain. Yes, I got out of it. All right, so
Good.
yeah, the minimum wage thing, like, it's the corporation's job to make sure that people are being treated correctly if you work for that corporation. If people are recurrently not making enough money and, say, in a lot of places have to live on government welfare in order to, like, work a full-time job or even a part-time job, someone is not doing their job. And as the taxpayer, why should I have to subsidize, like, people's jobs because corporations won't pay enough? Like,
isn't that what they're doing in Baja though? That like part of the wages are coming from like directly from the government instead of kind of covering up and being like, well, this is because you're poor. We're just saying, well, this is because your job is crap. And so they're like directly. That's how I read it anyway. Did I misread that?
no, I mean, I think you got it totally right, actually. In a lot of ways, like, but the Mexican government is different from our government.
Yes, Comrade Zero. But I mean, people say things like this all
Oh,
the
that
time
was
about
terrible.
European countries.
Invalid gender. All right, say that again.
I said people make comparisons between European countries or Australia and the US all the time.
Yeah, they do, but a lot of them don't know what they're talking about. And in fairness, sometimes they're like Bernie Sanders, and they're like, "Oh yeah, U.S. would be way better if we operated like a Swedish country," Swedish, Scandinavian country. Maybe
Scandinavian,
he
I
said.
think, is the word that you're looking for here. Swedish being a country and Scandinavian being a group of countries.
Fair. All right, so yeah, it's.
And we have friends that definitely do like and admire Bernie Sanders, so that's worth something.
Yeah, I don't even think that he.
Excuse me.
I don't think he's necessarily wrong, but I think that we have a fundamentally different problem because we're so much huger than a lot of those countries. And in the same way, like, we don't operate the same way Mexico does, nor do we have the same problems. Our biggest problem is that a lot of companies realize that because of the financial crash, it's a seller's market, and they are not treating people fairly as a result. And so, like, it causes problems. And then these companies are like, everyone can see they're making these giant profits.
Yeah, like they're not doing badly. They could, if they wanted to, be fair, but they're just choosing not to be. Although, I mean, I can hear some arguments being like, A, who says that life has to be fair? Screw you guys. And B,
No one, but
why, if they're good companies, then they'll realize that they need to have good workers, and then they'll want to retain workers at like a good rate.
yeah, it's very odd that the only workers anyone ever seems to want to retain is the CEO.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, CEOs need to get paid so much because they're so good and all this stuff. And well, undeniably, a CEO has an effect on the country. Like,
Yeah.
lots of people have effects on the country.
I mean, arguably
179
every
centimeters, that looks about right.
arguably
Say that
everybody
again.
has an impact on the overall country. I mean, if somebody like went and started like a fanatical religion, then that would have an impact on the country. You know,
Yes.
it doesn't cause no trouble. Anybody can cause trouble, Comrade Zero.
Yeah, exactly. And that ultimately comes down to, like, it is the government's job to take care of the citizens. How the government does that in a democracy is often up to the citizens. And if the citizens feel like they're being treated fairly, one of the big questions is that people are always like, well, they're just lazy and they want to get paid more. And, like, nobody ever seems to talk about how maybe they just want to get paid fairly. Like, a lot of people understand when the work they're doing is, like, not treating them fairly.
Yeah.
So, and a lot of people are pretty good at setting what they think their time is worth. There are certainly people who are bad at it.
Yeah. Hey, does that look like the picture?
Not everyone's perfect.
No. Sorry. I'm super
No,
excited
no.
about catching these villains.
We'll try. They don't always show up, though.
I'm sorry, you were saying?
Uh, like companies are. If companies pay people fairly, then their people don't leave to go do other jobs, right?
Yeah.
That is a extremely privileged idea that these people can afford to search for a new job or afford to move, which is
Not always the
not
case.
particularly common. Like people aren't always able San Marmero, yep, to move places.
Hmm.
Like you can't always just up and leave. I got lucky because I was in a motorcycle accident that let me up and leave. I'm pretty sure he has to have a thing.
We know you in a motorcycle that allowed you to up and leave.
I got in a motorcycle accident. I used the money from that motorcycle accident in order to move. When my 2009 motorcycle accident is why I live where I do now.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, if I hadn't had that money, I probably couldn't have moved out of Nebraska. And even then, I was living in, jeez.
Come on, Zero. You can do better, comrade.
I'm going to try playing timed.
Good luck.
So, yeah, like, that's the, and that's the fact of it. Like, I got the money to move and to live free with people, which is also pretty lucky,
Yeah.
because I crashed a motorcycle and had $5,000 I didn't expect to have. $5,000 is not a lot of money, but it was enough to like get out of where I was.
Yeah. It does sound
yeah,
like a
that's
lot of
not-
money. Like, if you could just, like, right now win $5,000, that wouldn't be so terrible.
No,
maybe
but I
that's
still
just
wouldn't
'cause
think
I'm
of it as a lot of money.
Very poor. I don't know. Or not. I'm
That's
not.
probably fair.
You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Anyway,
I know what you mean.
thank you. If I could make $15 an hour, it would be a different story. So,
Yeah, if you got, I mean, you, whoa, okay.
okay,
Well, you
wait
were
a second.
excited.
She looks like that picture.
Maybe you should
You
not
should
have
have
come.
come. Detained.
So I almost forgot to open the wanted criminals page.
Last second call. Good
Yep.
job.
So yeah, that's it's ultimately what it comes down to is you. Oh no, it's George.
What?
Don't even worry about it. Oh good, it's not him.
It's Johan.
Yep, he's got a work pass. He's got an identity supplement. He is bald. Yeah,
Well,
if
it's got a horseshoe.
you of course are having more trouble finding work, period, which is its own sort of thing.
Yeah. Do you think this is like the other part of this that we have sort of discussed in the past, but also is an argument against having higher wages in some ways, especially in like factories or in like growing strawberries and things in Baja? Will it cause strawberries to be $1 million?
It could. That argument's always been weird to me because there's actually a limit to the amount you can raise a thing before people will start shopping other places. It does kind of favor big box stores, which is unfortunate. But at the same
Or
time,
alternatively, like going super local. Like I can go down the street and go to my local farmer's market and buy strawberries. But I don't know if you can. Sorry, bud.
I can. We have wonderful farmers markets here.
Well, okay, but I mean, like, what about in Nebraska in winter?
No, you certainly can't. What the hell did I miss?
Next.
Invalid issuing city. Get off
Come on,
my
Zero.
desk. Immigration. I don't think you have an immigrate forever. The passport lady?
Anyway, so it's just a strange thing. I hope it goes well. I really hope that LA can deal with having a $15 an hour job.
I really liked LA linked the minimum wage in LA to the consumer price index. That was a really good idea. I don't know if we did that here.
What do you mean?
So your minimum wage will continue rising as people say like you need more money to live because of inflation. You tend to progressively need more money to live in places.
So does it get to a point where, like, is it the snake biting its tail that, like, as we have higher money will like get more inflation, get higher money and get more inflation, up and up and
Well,
up.
yes, but ultimately that's kind of a result of capitalism. Like
I know we have to fix this issue here, capitalism.
the capitalism issue. Let's see how bad I screwed up. No, I'm going to
Hopefully
be
not
gun shy
bad.
the rest of the game. And I got another penalty. Wow, I'm doing bad.
Come on.
Ah, dang it. Oh god, I'm about to fail out. Yep,
Anyway,
I've already failed like twice. It'll be fine. So yeah, that's where a lot of it comes down to. Like, if you want your country to work well, you need a government that works, and a government that works needs to figure out a way to take care of its people. And currently, our government's doing kind of a terrible job of that,
takes care of
and it's
some people.
depressing. It's the government's job to take care of the people, not any particular person.
Fair.
If most of our country is doing poorly, which they still are, then the government needs to fix that.
Okay, well, if we're a country of representation, watch this segue. And part of our people are not able to vote, or gone from voting, not accounted for, then it skews the results for the people that I think the government is working for now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm talking about the A Million Missing Black Voters article here,
Yeah.
which is talking about just because there's like a higher death rate for black people between the ages of 40 and 70 than for white people between those ages, that there is, and that's like a very high voting range, like that's the where people are going to vote traditionally, that it skews the government from, I think, kind of taking care of those kind of people.
Oh, absolutely. Like, there have been a lot of methods done over since the Nixon administration in order to keep black people from voting. And then everyone's all like, why are they rioting so much? Why can't they just calm down? It's not like ever since they gained the right to vote, people have been systemically trying to keep them out of the voting process so their governments aren't representative.
But this isn't even that. This is just because unfortunately a lot of black people live in poor, high crime areas. They just get killed. Or they have like poor health and poor health care, and then they just die.
Yeah, but I mean, that comes down to some of the stuff we were talking about before, where, like, it's important that the government helps take care of the people. And there's lots of ways it can do that. Like, a government is not necessarily required to be, perfect. And there's all sorts of interpretations on what taking care of means. But clearly right now, a lot of the people in the U.S. are suffering, and corporations are not taking care of it when they have the money to do so. What did I miss? Forged
Come
entry
on,
permit.
Zero. 5 credits. How is your family going to live?
They're not. I've already killed them. The government just doesn't know yet.
Send them quickly. Send them like a little carrier pigeon. Be like, get out now.
Yeah, there we go. It's all Grammaton Cleric in here all the time.
Yeah, good reference.
Right?
To Equilibrium, for those of you that didn't get the reference.
Don't explain the references. Jeez.
What? Come on. Anyway, but this is like saying that there are, okay, there's things like the Texas law that's like, all of Texas voted a law that small cities or towns or just even big cities can't vote against fracking. If somebody wants to come and frack, you have to allow them to do that, even if you don't want to allow them to do that as like a city. Which
Yeah, good job, Republicans. Way to create some smaller government.
Yay. But that's like purposefully sort of taking away people's rights, or when they're like, okay, you have to have, 2 forms of identification and, give us pre-register like a month in advance and do this and do that, blah, 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 blah. Like, that's systematic. You can like draw a direct line to people being like, they're not going to be able to vote. And that has been done against black people, unfortunately.
Well, yeah,
But
essentially...
also, this article is talking about just because of where they live. And it also talks about other people that don't always vote, like poor people in like the South and things like that. That just because, unfortunately, you're dead. If you're dead, you can't vote.
It's true. I mean, it comes down to, in Texas, they are actively removing people's ability to like make a difference through voting. Like, these communities said, we don't want fracking near us. It's been shown to destroy our water. And the government said, oh, hey, well,
Sorry.
It brings money into our whole state, so we're going to override the will of the people in this area. Which is like, weirdly, it's kind of what the Democrats do sometimes, where they're like, this is good for everybody, so we're going to enforce this nanny state iron-handed rule. But it's Republicans doing it, which makes it super transparent and like hypocritical.
Yeah, it is kind of weird. Also, they it's sort of like the eminent domain thing, where they're like, look, we need to build this highway or like this whatever dooley-dab for the good of everybody, so we're just going to buy your house. At least they buy the house, even if it's not from our price.
Yeah, that's the... If they buy the house, but they don't give you a fair price for it.
Mm. Hey, wait, isn't she look at the wanted posters. Nope, never
I
mind.
don't think she's on.
I saw one on like
Lynn,
the last page that was like different.
you want to catch the criminals.
I do! We have to keep Aristocra, whatever this place is,
Arstotska?
Aristotska.
Glorious Arstotska?
Yeah.
I agree. She's visiting for 3 months. So yeah, I mean, I just find it odd that these are people who voted. Like, this, the will of the people is not to have this near them, even if it will create jobs in their area, and the government is overriding them in an extremely heavy-handed way.
Yeah, in an extremely obvious way. It's almost like they don't care about keeping up appearances anymore, which is
They don't. They're in charge now.
That's kind of what bothers me. They're not even playing anymore.
They're not even pretending to care.
Yeah. At least buy us flowers or something if you're gonna... Is this an R-rated show?
You're the one who decided it was an R-rated show.
Yeah, well...
I'm not going to stop you. You edit it.
That's true. I'm not gonna say it though, but you know where I was going with that.
You know where that was going, if you have a filthy mind.
Which we do. Ah, I like her hairdo. Look, it's all... It's like a little corn bob. Or, no, it's like one of the little pastries. You know what I mean? The little swirly...
Yeah, I got it.
Cinnamon swirls. Zero, what am I thinking of?
Cinnamon roll?
Yeah, it's a bun. Cinnamon bun. But instead of having two on the side like Leia, she just has one right in the front. Anyway, yeah, so the whole voting block for African American are sad. And the other thing that I was talking about is even if there were other, like, based purely on socioeconomics, like the South, they don't vote in the same way that black people do, I guess. It says, but black votes are particularly interesting and important, and an important area of focus, both because of the long history of efforts to prevent or suppress black voting, and because of the partisan homogeneity of African Americans. So, do you think that that's true? Do you think that black people vote really similarly? You know more about this kind of thing than I do. That's why I'm asking.
Thanks. Well, since I know every black person...
No, because you keep more track of fucking voting things than I do. You're the one that knows all the Republican things, all of the Republican candidates. Gosh,
so
racist.
We've had Herman Cain and Ben Carson in the last couple election cycles. Way to turn it around, white girl. Jeez. We had Herman Cain and Ben Carson, so obviously black people are not a homogenous voting bloc, as well as Michael Steele, who used to run the Republican National Convention, I believe, who was also a black guy. It's not like every black person votes Democrat, so that's a really weird argument to make.
It's the article's argument, not mine, Zero.
I know. It's a common argument, though, in that there are these token people who don't vote. But that falls into that basic assumption, right? That, like, these aren't people, they're a mob. Like, people are going to vote what they believe will help them. If most black people believe the Democrats will help them, that says more about the party than it does about the homogenous entity that is all black people. Like,
Yeah.
maybe that's because Republicans have consistently said things like, if your only response most of the time is, well, they just don't know what's for their own good, there's a pretty decent chance you have no idea what's for people's own good. It's not a guarantee, but it's not like anyone's done a fantastic job of running Congress recently, Democrat or Republican. So I'm not super willing to give either of them the benefit of the doubt for how amazing they're going to be.
Yeah, I hear that. Ugh. Also, I keep hearing a lot of my people that I know that are older than me keep being like, if we're gonna give out welfare, you have to like do all this drug testing and blah blah blah, which I don't know. I mean, that's neither here nor there. But my argument is always we should make Congress do all of these things and audit every congressman. Screw them. Screw you,
A lot of
Congress.
them are getting caught right now.
Yeah, good.
I mean, the problem is that the drug testing isn't doing anything. Like, and as well, the drug laws are enforced really unfairly anyway.
Yeah.
So does that mean it's like, if the rationale is all these people on welfare should do all these drug things, like, how is that different from random drug tests for people who are working? Is it okay for like random people to do a Is it okay for a random person off the street to do drugs? Like, their argument is that because you're on welfare now, it's not okay to do drugs we've decided are illegal.
I don't know.
Are we
It's not my
testing for
argument.
alcohol and cigarettes? Like, these are drugs.
Which
are you not allowed
terrible.
to have caffeine?
I mean, like, plenty of people get drunk and then beat on each other, you know?
Yeah. What it mostly is it's just inconsistent. I don't mind so much if people are like, if you're going to be this way, then we should test you. But it's not really different than saying, like, if you want to drive on the public highways, you better get a drug test every month. Because you're still benefiting from public utilities.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, if you're going to use public stuff, at least, yeah, just be consistent about it. That's mostly what I want when people are going to complain about this. Because, yeah, you know, a lot of people get into trouble if you had to renew your license every month.
But
But we have a lot more government jobs.
Yeah. But people
not
are
gonna
super
check again.
not consistent about these things, or they don't understand what being actually consistent are, or would be like. It's like, I always see this thing that's like, your freedom of speech, like, allows you to, like, stomp on the flag. Then I guess I'm allowed to, like, stomp on you, or something like that. And it's like the comparison. And I'm like, no, one is assault, and the other is well, not great, but certainly not assault.
Well, let's stop for a moment and think about the difference between what we call a human being and what we call an inanimate object.
Right?
Yeah, because I don't even... What's the comparison? Like, is your comparison that a flag is a human being?
I don't know. The comparison is that that they fought for the flag. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but you fought to defend people's right. Like, one of the reasons we put that in the Constitution is because soldiers and people who fought for Great Britain in the time of the Revolutionary War would say, if you say negative things about Great Britain, then obviously you're saying, like, it's the same argument. Our founding fathers put it in there for a reason. Like,
I know. But that's my point,
those
Sean.
people don't know their history. And it's a problem because they're like, yeah, how dare people say bad things about a country they're allied to? What the... I shouldn't try to play this game while talking. This is the worst.
It's funny to watch you fail.
Oh, crap.
Oh, here it is.
Look,
if
this
stomping on the
game
U.S.
is
flag
really
is
hard to
protected,
play.
is free and protected by if stomping on the U.S. flag is free and protected speech, then so is stomping on someone who is stomping on the U.S. flag. And then it says www.americanstrong.com.
Yeah, totally the same thing. Step on an inanimate object. Like, but that shows how those people think. Like, those people think that is, like, if you step on the flag, you're not a person. You're an inanimate object. Like,
yeah.
you should have the same rights as the flag, as if the flag doesn't change or get misrepresented or even get hurt, like, in times of war.
Or if it's not even, I don't know. It just seems to me like recently that things, for me to continue to respect the ideal of like this country, which I love my country so, so much. It needs an overhaul. Somehow.
Harsh. That's rough.
Dude, I'm a harsh person. Look at me. Harsh. Look at
It
this
got
gun.
an overhaul, though. Like, that's what a lot of these court cases did. That's why, you know...
Maybe things will be better, right?
Well, I mean, that's why money equals speech now. Why you can spend as much money as you want on a campaign.
That's less good. Yes.
Because people have decided that, if you restrict someone's ability to spend money, you're restricting their ability to speak.
Oh, you mean as far as, like, paying for campaigns and stuff, like private donations?
Yeah, like super PACs and stuff.
I mean, yeah, it's not great. I don't know. It seems like it's just your... if you come from, like, a family with money, then it's sort of, like, giving you this crazy advantage against somebody that maybe is not coming from a little money. I mean, if you're not coming from money and somebody's, like, paying for you to do that, to have, you know, all of the advertisements and things like that, then you owe them. You know what I mean?
Well, and if you think about it, 6 months, it
says 14 days. That's a discrepancy.
Yeah. Fine. Yeah, it's one of those things where nobody necessarily says the country has to be fair. A certain segment of the populate wants the country to be fair, but the whole population doesn't. A lot of people think that, like, and you've expressed this before, fair somehow means equal.
Yeah, I have said things like that where it's like to be forced to be fair. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It just seems very dystopian to me. And maybe that's just because
right,
I have read
but
way too
fair
many,
doesn't mean equal. It just means like I can have a job that pays less than someone else and still be taken care of in such a way that my basic, like, Maslow needs are met.
Including the
and
internet.
Yes, now. But that doesn't, like, being treated fairly does not mean being treated equally. But it does mean being treated equally in certain respects. You don't have to be treated 100% equally in all respects to be treated fairly. If you and another person are having a discussion about something and you know more than them, you're not treating them unfairly. Like, if I know more than you about a thing, I'm not treating you unfairly by knowing more than you. You had the same opportunities to learn.
Did I? Did I, Zero?
No, you're
know.
younger than me.
No, okay, good point. Our school
But you
system
know who
changed.
did? Your husband. He's older than me. He should know everything I know.
See,
and more.
That's what's scary, right? He's not going to know everything that you know, and people should respect that.
Yeah, because we
like,
prioritize
okay.
different things. Like, he had the opportunity to prioritize. Like, and I wouldn't want him to be exactly like me. I'm not, like...
How would you learn?
People aren't asking for clones. Yeah, people don't want clones, and, like, the government creating clones would be bad, but there's nothing really wrong with, like, being taken care of in such a way that you can learn. Like that brain thing. If they could take care of that brain thing, you'd do brain stuff.
What brain thing? What?
Oh, don't worry about it. I forgot.
What?
Have you ever seen Star Trek The Wrath of Khan?
A long time ago, but I don't really remember it very well because it's me, and I just remember them putting the bugs in the ears. Or maybe it was the mouth. I don't know.
There's a reason you only remember that part.
Yeah, because it was really dramatic and scary.
Yeah, totally not because it happened to you.
What?
Anyway.
What?
Didn't you have something else you wanted to talk about? Don't we have other subjects?
Yeah, we do.
Very important things that are not at all about the bugs being implanted in your ears?
If I had fucking freaking bugs in my ears that my memory would be better. They better be like Fry's, like parasites that make him awesome. That's the bugs that I want.
That's fair. You want the Futurama bugs?
Yes, I would be okay with that. Oh, it's like an old granny.
And she doesn't even look like a wanted criminal.
I know, too bad.
But she did give an incorrect response.
Yeah. I tried to talk one of our mutual friends into getting married to our other mutual friend, fiance. This is a while ago. And she didn't want to get married in the States because she has like a really big family and didn't want to have a big wedding. And so I was like, dude, let's get married like over, or like not let's, but you should get married overseas. And she's like, yeah, that sounds like a good idea, like destination wedding. And then she's like, oh, but it's like really expensive. And I was like, not if we do it in a cheap country, like a.
You're not talking about like Senor Nail Gun, are you? You said like mutual friend, and I lost the thread of who you were talking about.
The ones that got married this last Christmas.
Okay, so Senor Nail Gun and Wife Nail Gun.
Yes. Mrs.
All
Nail
right.
Gun. Mrs. Bird.
Yes. Bird Nail Gun and Sick Nail Gun?
Yes, exactly.
All right, cool. I do know who we're talking about. And those are their official names.
Absolutely.
Sick and Birdie.
Oh, it's the cutest.
Yeah.
Anyway, and so I was like, dude, what about like Kazakhstan or like Mongolia? She's like, yeah, we could do that. Like, and go get like an old like car and like drive around and stuff. And I was like, yeah. And we brought this before the guy, and he's like, no, no. What are you talking about? Look,
Dang it, Senor Nail Gun. I'm going to have to make fun of him for that.
I know, and he's like, I don't want to like be caught and put in like the gulag for like 20 years, chicory. And I was like, what? That's not going to happen. Like, that's American being scared. Scaredy cat.
What about Hostel? True story. He could go to one of those hostels.
Yeah, I told
Like
him
the
I kind
murder
of wanted
factories?
to get into like going into caving and spelunking, and he's like, look, Katie, like, I saw The Descent, okay? How do
I love
I
how
know?
his life is. Yeah, that sounds fair. That I can totally see him making that argument.
Yeah, it was pretty glorious. Anyway, where are we going with this? Okay, on to the last little bit of trolls
Nailed
on
it.
Twitter trolls.
Which we're about to experience firsthand.
Woohoo! I hope so. I mean,
You
not really.
want trolls?
Well, just because then it's like, you know, attention, and then I can be cool like Anita Sarkeesian. Is that how you say her name?
I don't actually know. What did I miss? Crap, you made me think.
Oh!
Thinking is the enemy. Invalid gender. Gender's a social construct.
You didn't get a penalty though, so there's that.
I got a 30-second penalty. I was doing well, too. This game is so hard to play.
Anyway, so yeah,
It's
like
fantastic.
Hillary Clinton got on Twitter and like just gets flagged by twats all day.
That sounds too hot. You need to change how you say that.
By terrible people, by people that are just, this is what I don't get, is you're not adding to the discourse, you're just being a jackass.
Most people do not want to add to the discourse. I don't even know what made you think most people do want to add to the discourse. Didn't you talk with people we both know who are like, doesn't that just sound like a reason like two of you would argue together? As if you can't have a conversation about politics and stuff without getting in a huge fight even when you disagree?
Who are you talking about? Zero! Stop paying
I'll
attention
explain
to the game.
later.
Okay, well, whatever. Anyway, I don't know. No, I expect everyone to be able to have civil discourse all the time. Obviously.
Yeah, I agree. I actually agree with that 100%. That's why we have this.
Yay!
So I
Trying
can,
to-
like, troll you and say untrue things.
Oh, no!
Just
I don't know,
lies.
but it just seems like...
Grand Vizier lies.
You mean comrade
And then I'll-
lies. I mean, a
And then
comrade
I'll
would
take
never
your daughter
lie to me.
and dress her in a really, like, creepy outfit despite being, like, 3 times her age. Jafar making Viziers look bad.
Jafar. But Iago was kind of cool though.
Oh man,
Iago.
Iago. Yeah, yeah. Named after one of the better Shakespeare villains too.
Really? Huh. From what play?
Have you not read Othello?
Oh no, I have. I have read Othello. I just didn't remember.
I took Rose to see Othello the opera, and man, like I need to get her to see the Shakespeare play now.
Why?
She was like super sad afterwards, but said it was really good. That's one that is
Why
actually
was she sad?
probably
Doesn't
my
it have a
favorite
happy
Shakespeare.
ending?
What? No.
No, I'm thinking of Merchant
No.
of Venice. Where like the girl like
Also, Merchant of Venice's ending.
And then-
Spoilers from 500 years ago. Doesn't her father get killed?
wasn't
Like
he a
after going
jackass?
kind of crazy?
Did he? Isn't that
You
the
mean
one?
her unfairly maligned Jewish father, who is pretty much like, you need to reread your Shakespeare. I'm just gonna.
I know. I read it with Mark
yeah.
when I was like 16, and so it just was like not very great. I mean, it was great. It was good fun, but it wasn't the best to be memorizing. You know what I mean? I was distracted.
Yep, you were like me trying to play Papers, Please.
Yeah. By the way, suck less. I mean, no, you're doing great, buddy.
I'm initiating Plan Suckless.
Much like
It's
the
not going
Twitter
so well.
people should.
Oh, harsh.
I know.
You're just asking for trouble. It's pretty amusing.
I know.
I'm
Anyway,
amused by it.
I'm glad that you are. It is also kind of amusing me, but probably not in the same way. I don't know. It's just who I am, Zero.
We'll see if it keeps being amusing if people like actually come after you.
Then I'll be all, I'm sorry I made you angry. I'll be less of a bitch. I swear.
Are
And
you
then
really
I'll...
gonna fold like a deck of cards?
Oh, yeah. But then I'll just continue being
You,
a bitch.
you will just fold like there are lawn chairs that are easier to fold than you.
I'll fold up like one of those camping chairs, like, whoop.
That's what I expect. A director's chair. Trust me, if you come at me, I will fold like a director's chair.
It
Alright,
doesn't...
that wasn't too bad. I got 5 people through in 10 minutes.
That's not bad.
Doing better.
Getting warmed up, huh?
Getting into it, managing to think and talk at the same time, which I don't normally have to do on this show.
I know. Wait, what?
Whoa, no, crap. Apparently that takes me to the internet.
Oh, whoops. Anyway, so people are super bashing Hillary because she's like a woman, and super bashing Obama like his first day on Twitter. Come on, guys.
Oh, yeah. That doesn't surprise me at all, though. There's like, no matter how much the Republicans in Congress want to deny it, there's always been the racism tone against Obama.
Yeah.
And Hillary's female, so she's going to get it too.
Yeah, even though I don't super like Hillary, I just feel like, come on, guys, let's elevate our standards a little bit.
We will have plenty of time to talk about our disagreements with Hillary in general. I don't think anyone deserves that. I agree with you. Everyone should add to the discourse. Like, you may disagree. There's nothing wrong with disagreeing. Like, and the media doesn't help either. But,
No.
like, you should be able to disagree and add to the discourse. Like, but it just shows like a desire
But then
not
you have
to think.
know how to do it. I don't know. I was reading this other article, which I did not send to you because you asked me not to send this type of article that was like talking about.
Yes, I can't go to Cracked. I will lose a month of my life every time I do.
I know.
I love it a lot, but
it's a great.
it has not
website.
been said on the air. I want you to advertise Cracked because I like Cracked, and I think more people should go there. I just can't go there because of addiction problems.
Yeah.
That is not a joke, guys. That is the actual reason. The last time I went to Cracked because she sent me something there, I didn't emerge until reading over 100 articles 30 days later. Probably closer to 200 or 300.
Which I don't understand. But I don't have an addictive personality. People are just addicted to my personality.
That's not even true. But
No, it's not true at all.
such a liar.
I'm horribly addicted to sugar. It's not even fun. Anyway.
You totally get addicted, and then you're like super enthusiastic about them too.
What else have I been addicted to?
Climbing.
That's not an addiction.
You didn't have to put up with yourself when you first found out about it. And it's cool. Like, I'm glad that you're enthusiastic about it. It's a good thing to be enthusiastic about. But man, you have a climbing blog. You were like, oh man, this 3150 BC. It's so amazingly listless. And I'm like, I don't understand any of that sentence, but it sounds good. It's like, you'll understand it. Just let me keep talking at you.
Let me just explain to you how the rating system was originated, and then there's the bouldering, like, V system versus the 5 whatever system.
Right, and honestly, to me, that's actually really cool, because I like to learn random stuff like that, thus my addiction to cracked. But I'm sure to other people, they were just like,
hey, those are different names.
Yeah, I caught that.
I helped.
You did help.
To the gulag!
No, chicory.
Oh, sorry. This is probably why I shouldn't be in charge.
Not without a vizier who's super bad at identifying people.
Yeah. Anyway, the guy, what they're talking about on the Hillary Politico article was, while the attacks don't seem to be personal and sometimes sexist, or while the attacks seem to be personal and sometimes sexist, the attackers claim they are not. And they're quoting this guy. He says, yep, I troll quite a bit, I guess. Says Hicks, who works as a quality control engineer. Explained in a direct message on Twitter. I don't dislike her personally because I don't know her personally. As with all politicians, I'm sure she's very likable and says all the right things. I'm as tired as old white men leading this country as the next guy. We need someone that'll unite the country, protect it, and stand up for its citizens. But they wouldn't say that in the Twitter. He just calls her, how about calling the moms of those killed at Benghazi? That's a great start. Instead, it'll probably be rich donors, #witch. Which is not...
Yeah. Well, okay, so for one thing, while that's a slightly partisan attack, I'm sure that's not the worst. I'm sure that's just, like, the worst they could find who would actually speak up, like, and respond to their questioning.
Oh, yeah.
But also, like...
Which dictator,
let's
monster...
see. How to explain this?
You?
Your husband can be, like, a professional troll sometimes.
Yeah, it's pretty hysterical. I mean, like, it's not, but it really is.
Yeah, and you're amused by that, and the other people are amused for the same reasons. Like,
well,
they're just a lot of people are just amusing themselves, saying things they know will get a reaction, whether or not they believe it.
Yeah, but I feel like it's different to troll somebody that you specifically know than to somebody that, like, is making a national statement. Does that make sense?
Well, so if you specifically know somebody. I always think context matters. You know me. I believe if you know a person and, like, that you guys both know not to take this too seriously, that's one thing.
Which I feel like is what my husband does most of the
time. And I would agree. Your husband is not a horrible guy. He's just sometimes a horrible person.
Mm. But aren't we all sometimes?
Oh, yeah. I don't even hide it. I've had that discussion, like, and this will come up many times. If you're going to be, like, if you're going to offend somebody, at least make sure you're doing it intentionally.
Yeah.
I have very little patience for... No, you don't even have to have panache. Just, like, make sure you know what you're doing and make sure you have a reason you're doing it. A lot of people are bad at it, but you don't necessarily get better at a thing without practice. Some people want to be funny, and the only way they know to be funny is by, like, insulting people, and they don't realize that punching down, like, for one thing, with politicians, a lot of good, like, humor involves punching up. So politicians on Twitter are super, like, they're a thing worth punching up at. Like, that doesn't
What do you mean punching up
versus
versus punching down? Can you explain that?
When you attack somebody who is of a lower privilege or social station than you are punching down.
So, like, if you and I were standing in a room talking about something, and we were talking about, like, cooking or something like that. No, you're also a really good cook.
All right, no. Here's one. What was the highest rating you got to in fencing?
B.
So imagine that you went into a tournament and you were placed up against somebody who was like their first tournament, like you as a B-rated fencer, at the age you were a B-rated fencer, went to the youth classic and fenced against brand new people. Is that going to be a fun match for you if you take it 100% seriously?
No, but new
Is that going to be a
fencers
fun
and
match
like
for the other person?
new people are always challenging because they're just flailing around. You gotta be careful.
Well, and that's fair. But that person is punching up. That person can learn, especially if you do it right.
Yeah, which I tried to when I was fencing.
Yeah. But you, as somebody who is just, like, punching down for no reason...
Yeah, which definitely happened. Yeah, and it wasn't fun. Or, I don't know, there was a time in chess where somebody did that to me, and I was, like, super pissed. And I was like... That happens
a lot in
look,
chess,
I know I don't know anything about this game, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, oh, okay. And, like, we had been playing chess kind of together as a house. And I play against you, I play against my husband. And, like, you know, he gives me, like, the benefit of, like, having a close game. So that, like, I can learn, and so do you. And, like, I was kind of expecting this from this guy. And,
Although I'm bad at chess now, so you could probably beat me.
Maybe.
I've been playing too much.
Haha! Challenge! Challenge accepted.
Are you actually challenging me to a game of chess? We can play right after this.
Oh! I gotta make dinner. Like a good one.
Nice save.
Actually, no, I don't. I have frozen pizza. I can do whatever I want. Yeah, sure, let's play some chess. Anyway. Yeah, and he just absolutely trounced me, and I just was like, why did you even accept my challenge? Like, what fun was it for you to just beat the crap out of me in chess? I don't know.
And for some people, that punching down is the fun part. Like, some people want that joy of just beating up. Like, some people want that bullying.
Are these the same people, do you think, that, like, when they play video games, that they play on, like, easy? Or that they'll, like, get really strong and then go, like, beat really, like, noob characters?
Yeah, who will intentionally de-level to beat people easier. Yeah, some of them.
What dicks? I don't know. I always want to believe that people are better than just being dicks.
A lot of people are. Think about it. Like, a lot of people on Twitter don't do that to people. And a lot of people on Twitter say constructive things, and a lot of people just, like, mind their own business. Most people are not like that. But some people are like that, and that's where the problem comes in. Like, I saw this, that's, like, how they get their entertainment, or they just don't understand not to punch, like... They don't understand how to punch up, they just understand not to punch down. So they think it's okay to attack Hillary in ways they wouldn't attack other people.
Yeah. I saw this picture forever ago, like many, many years ago, and it was this concept of overwhelming minorities. And so it's like, if you're watching a movie in a packed movie theater, and everybody else is being quiet, like in the middle of Interstellar, and then, like, these people start, like, talking and being like, oh my god, I love Matthew McConaughey, he's so sexy, or something. Then, even though it's only one person in, like, 50 people, you know, that person has become an overwhelming... Is that 9 points against you?
No, that means I got 9 people through in 10 minutes, so I got just over a minute per person. Doing better.
Very good.
I think I only made one mistake as well, so...
Anyway, then that's an overwhelming minority. Or if, and this happens to me a lot because I live in Los Angeles and there's dogs.
That's why I see movies at 10 a.m. on Tuesdays when I can.
Oh, no. People don't normally do that. Or at least, I've never super seen, unless you're at a really cheap movie like matinee or like super, super late at night, where it's like kind of agreed on that you're going to all like catcall the movie. Then, that's kind of a different thing. But I was going to go with like dogs. Like, there's lots of people that own dogs in our neighborhood. And, like, 1 or 2 of them don't clean up after their dogs. And now, like, there's dog crap. Okay, are we winding up?
I think we can be winding up. I'm going to give it one more shot at endurance while we wrap up. Unless you don't have anything else you want to say.
Well, you went back to your voice, is what I'm saying.
Oh, did you lose me on the Hangouts?
Yeah, no, yeah. Like, it's not presenting anymore.
No.
So I'm presenting my face.
All right. Anyway, this probably won't last very long. So yeah, if you want to wrap up, like, you want to give your final thoughts?
Final thoughts are, it's just depressing when people just choose to be dicks for no good reason. And
The reasons are good to them. They think they have really good reasons.
I guess that's true. Maybe they just need to have it. I really prefer to live by the thing of like, treat everybody like with respect, blah blah blah, even if they're not necessarily treating you well, that you should still treat them well. And
The golden rule and the silver rule.
yeah. Your picture went away again.
What? Oh, my message center thing popped up. Why?
Anyway, and so I don't want to
Let's
say
wrap
they
this.
deserve like a taste of their own medicine or anything like that, but I will say
Are we
that like
good?
I wish that they realize what the damage that they can do sometimes.
And they don't. They just think they're joking around.
Hmm.
And that's ultimately
Um,
like that's the complicated part is some people just think they're joking around, and other people like take it seriously, and then those people are like, "Why did you get offended by this thing I said that wasn't that offensive? Didn't you understand I'm joking?"
And you're like, no,
And
this is the internet. We don't have any inflection. We don't know you as a person. We only know you as like what you're saying.
super good at this, guys. Right. Like I don't know you. Again, it comes down to context.
Yeah. And not everybody can like take the time to learn about what was this guy's Hicks like background of like, you know, him being a decent human being. If he just trolls Hillary, then that's, you know, the part that gets him on the internet. So that's
Yeah,
what you think
this
of you,
this
Hicks.
guy is, and if he lives in a Republican area, that's going to make him pretty popular. He's like the local Hillary troll.
Boo. I mean, I don't know. It's just not creative. At least if you're gonna
No, it's
troll,
not.
be creative.
That's fair. I can get behind that. Like I said, if you're going to offend people, at least be intentional about it. So many people like offend folks and then they're like, "Why'd you get offended by that?" And it's really obvious someone was going to get offended, and then they're like, "I can't believe you got offended." And and I'm just looking at them and being like, "Yeah, you knew that was offensive when you did it, and if you didn't, you really shouldn't have said it. Like you're just not thinking enough."
Yeah. I don't know. Second of all, what? Voting is just a tricky issue. And it just sucks when the government, it seems purposefully ignores large chunks of the populace which they're supposed to be serving.
Yeah, I can get behind that. You'd think the government is supposed to be serving the people, and a lot of them don't only seeming to be serving not even their constituency, like an even smaller subsection of the people.
Yeah. The parts that line their pockets with the private money.
And that's not
That's so
necessarily an
cynical.
untrue
That's so sad.
interpretation. Yeah, that's really cynical for you.
I need to be more peppy. Woo! They just are doing the best for what they see or something. I don't know. It just seems malicious more and more.
Very
maybe
sincere.
Thanks.
I
Anyway,
totally
but some
bought that.
some things are doing well, like the minimum wage. Like these are politicians that are like, hey, there's an issue here. Let's see if we can take care of this. Or like Seattle was like, no, like everybody amongst our people were like, we don't want Shell to come like be around our port or whatever. And then Shell did it anyway, and then they had like all of those demonstrations with the people in kayaks.
We're still doing it. Seattle loves to protest. Go Seattle protesters.
Yeah.
Don't go Seattle anarchists. You guys cause a lot of trouble that you don't have to cause. But go Seattle protesters in general. You guys are awesome.
Yay! Okay, do you think that there's a sense of irony about them protesting like an oil rig in plastic kayaks?
No.
I have heard a lot of irony about them using plastic to protest oil.
Okay, did people explain to you exactly what the irony is?
Well, that it's like plastic is made out of oil, I guess, is like the
No, I
concept.
get that. I'm more curious, like, these people are saying, like, how dare they use a thing that already exists to protest us getting more of it? Like, the protest is that we can't take any more oil out of the ground. Like,
Look,
it's
but
not,
I mean,
we shouldn't
that's
use
my
what's there.
concept. And then, like, you know, one of the people that I was talking about didn't have the concept of, well, we can just recycle and repurpose the plastic later from the kayaks.
Yeah, like, those kayaks are recyclable. You can totally use a plastic kayak to be like, oh, hey, we shouldn't do this. And be like, yeah, Why? I don't understand why it would be ironic. They might even be recycled plastic kayaks, at which point they'd be more appropriate.
Yeah. I'm going to start saying.
Especially in Seattle. I have a kayak shop just down the street that sells recycled kayaks.
That's it. I didn't know it was even a thing. There you go. Anyway, buddy,
Yeah, it's
I
Seattle.
do have to go make some supper for somebody now. And, or he can make supper or something. I don't know. Anyway.
For rabbits?
Yeah, for the bunnies. Oh, bunnies. And I'll talk to you later, okay? So those are my final thoughts. Don't be dicks. Or at least be funny.
Wheaton's Law!
I guess.
That's Wheaton's Law. Don't be a dick.
Joss Whedon?
No, Wheaton. Will Wheaton.
Oh, well then I like it. Okay, I'll go with it. Anyway, I'll see you next week, okay, buddy? Do you have any final thoughts? Final thoughts for you? Are you going to win this game?
I contributed them. Nobody wins in Papers, Please. Although I haven't lost yet, which is quite shocking for me.
Arstotzka wins. Glorious Arstotzka.
It's true. Yeah, so this is Create
Utopia.
Utopia.
She's a criminal!
Could be, actually.
Let's arrest her.
You have an
interesting face. Let me through or you will regret it. One moment, please. What is happening?
Have your documents ready.
Next. I wish you could hear the noise of this game because the soundtrack is so oppressive and terrible. It's hysterical.
It is really oppressive and terrible. All right, so yeah, and this has been Create Utopia.
Yay!
Like, subscribe, talk to us on Twitter. I know we don't have comments. Comments are not allowed in Glorious Archtotska.